First, we should observe the ancient ritual of traditional pre-fight donuts.
Yeah!
Fear does not exist in this dojo, does it?
Am I the baddest mofo no down around this time?
Shut up!
Break, not hit back.
Silly Caucasian girl likes to play with samurai swords.
You will all refer to me by the name Betty.
I know Kung Fu.
Thank you, Chuck Norris.
I said I don't want trouble.
Only a ninja can destroy a ninja.
Defeat does not exist in this dojo, does it? No, Sensei!
Now, who wants to go home? And who wants to go with me?
All right. Welcome to episode 3 of KickFlix, Martial Arts Movie Podcast. Thank you guys for checking us out. I am Nary Science. With me, as usual, is Mike Mercadal.
KickFlix.
And Missy.
Hi.
And Jeff.
What up?
So today we're going to be talking about if you the audio version. This is the video could be found on our Facebook and YouTube channels. All the links are in the bio. If you go to our Instagram, it's KickFlix Pod. But today we're going to be talking about the 1989 classic Blind Fury. Now, if you've listened, if you listened to our first episode where we talked about 1992's classic Sidekicks, you'll notice the trend whenever we use the word classic. So we're gonna be talking about Blind Fury. This movie was put on the wheel by Jeff. Jeff made this selection, and the wheel of fate spun and landed on Blind Fury.
Blind Fury is a 1989 American action film directed by Philip Noyce. That is his name, Noyce. And starring Rutger Hauer, Brandon Call, Terry O'Quinn, Lisa Blount, Randall Tex Cobb, and Noble Willingham. The screenplay by Charles Robert Carner is a loosely based modernized remake of Zatoichi Challenged, the 17th film in the Japanese Zatoichi film series. To date, it is the sole feature film produced by Tim Matheson. I didn't know that. The film follows Nick Parker, Rutger Hauer, a blind, sword-wielding Vietnam War veteran who returns to the United States and befriends the son of an old friend. Parker decides to help the boy find his father, who has been kidnapped by a major crime syndicate. It was the 80s.
Major crime syndicate.
It was the 80s.
You know who that guy? I thought that guy was from The Jump. You remember Randy from Independence Day?
Yeah, Randy.
Yeah,
I thought it was Randy for a hot minute, and I'm like, oh, Randy. And then I was fucking around on the IMDb page, and I was like, that's not Randy.
So Philip Noyce, after doing this gem, did Sliver, Salt, Clear and Present Danger, Patriot Games, and The Saint. Were all movies that he did after this one.
I haven't seen any.
All bangers. What are you talking about?
Yeah, no, I said no, but I said after this gem.
I haven't seen any of those movies.
So
no, what do you mean? This movie is like fucking great.
Give us the 60 seconds. Give us Mike, your 60-second first impressions of this movie, and how old were you when you first watched it?
I was 40 years old when I first watched it. I was also 40 years old when I watched it the second time. Because I had to watch it twice because I retained nothing.
You should be compensated for the second time.
No, here's the thing. So if you listen to our previous episode, every explanation I give, it starts with here's the thing. If you listen to the previous episode of KickFlix Pod, you will know that we did Ong Bak, and it was a foreign language film with subtitles. So you had to be looking at the screen the whole time. With this movie, it was one of those where I caught myself, I was watching the movie and then like I caught myself, I must have been looking at my phone for like 20 minutes, not paying attention to anything that was going on in the fucking movie. Because at a certain point in the movie, I had to message you guys and be like, this wasn't a martial arts movie to me until the very end. And this movie is another example of Asian cultures all fight the same. You know, they all got Yeah, it's all the same. Japanese, but also Vietnam, whatever. They're all the same. And the white guy taking the skills from an Asian culture. It's very tone deaf, the whole thing. And then also just bad. Because it did not retain my attention in any way. I had to like go back and be like, wait, what's that blue shit? Right. And then like it's just like a big old convoluted mess, and it's just a big caricature. Like I feel like it feels like an American studio sent someone off to like go make a kung fu movie, go make a samurai
That's exactly
movie.
what happens.
And then they never followed up. They were just like, go make it, and then they were like, did you get a script? Yeah, just put something out. Just put something out. Rutger Hauer wants to be a blind Viet. Yeah, just put it out. And then that's what we got. And it definitely
it could be said that this is a star-studded cast.
For 1989, yeah, not bad.
And
Rutger
Meg
Hauer.
Foster was in it for 3 seconds before she was not.
Oh, right. And the guy who plays the father.
Yeah, Terry O'Sullivan, the block.
Yeah,
Terry
Quinn.
He's like a real actor.
Yeah, these are all real actors. Randall Tex Cobb is in a million things.
Yeah, Ernest Goes to Jail. He was Lyle.
That's how he's legitimate.
Yeah,
that's a perfect example of legitimacy.
All right.
That was more than 60 seconds. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Missy, what's your initial reaction?
Can you put up the picture of my initial reaction?
Oh.
When you get your spa day on Groupon. So I was prepared for this movie to hate this movie. And I hate when that happens, that I was prepared to hate it and then I end up liking it, because I don't like to do that.
By that she means admit that she was wrong.
Whatever. And so admit that I have changed my mind. Sure. Man, I love this podcast. I have so much fun. I want to know what the eye drop budget was for this movie. And legitimate question, do blind people not blink? Legitimate question.
Depends on why they're blind.
Okay. So then I'm just going to stick with the first question, which is what was the eye drop budget for this? Because this guy did not was very method about playing it.
Just a lot of looking off camera, offline a little bit, where instead of looking right there.
That little kid.
You know what he should have done to play blind is look directly at the camera.
Yes.
Rule number 1: never look down the barrel of the camera.
Yeah.
And since he's blind, he's like, I don't know where the camera is.
And the other thing is that while this movie was distracting at some point, it lulled here and there. There are some one-liners that are just like when the grandmother is shooting after they steal her car, and the guy turns around and goes, "This is why I voted for gun control." And I was like, topical.
And the person saying it is the cowboy.
Yes, the bad guy. Yes. So I very much enjoyed this movie. I was today years old when I saw it. And I was I enjoyed it. I wouldn't watch it again on purpose, but if somebody had it on in the background one day, I wouldn't be upset about it. So that's my first impression.
All right, Jeff, jerk this movie off, okay?
And then none of us said anything ever again.
I saw this movie when I was 7 or 8 for the first time. And I remembered, I think I only saw it once.
Fly in the wall of your childhood. I gotta be honest. The fucking. I mean, it's so varied. The movie watching that you did as a child. It's amazing. Kudos to your parents, man.
I like to give. I'd give everything a shot at least once, because you never know. You may end up enjoying it. That's why I agreed to watch Twilight with Missy, which I've never seen them before ever. But with this movie,
you owe me for Sharknado, motherfucker.
I understand that it's funny because I feel like they were trying to make a very serious movie and they failed. But I thoroughly enjoy what this movie is for what it is. They make no qualms about that it's a comedy. They make no qualms about it. They make no.
I think it takes itself a little bit more serious than that.
Missy, the tagline
It's
was
a comedy.
Yes, it's considered an action comedy
So then why was it on the wheel?
because he uses a
martial
sword and
arts
fights a
movies-
ninja. And did you hear the 15 gongs that were played throughout the entire movie?
Martial arts movies could also be comedy.
No,
Look
yeah,
at-
I'm not saying it's not a comedy. I'm just
It's psychic.
shocked because this movie was not funny.
Oh,
I didn't agree.
I
thought it
don't
was
think you were. I don't
Leary
think you
sent
were
me
looking in the
videos of
right
his
places.
children cracking up to this
Yeah,
movie.
yeah. I'm looking for the videos now. So I can-
It's not. It wasn't intention. It wasn't funny. I think in the way that it was supposed to be.
Well,
Remember when Dave
Cisco-
Chappelle talked about the
yeah.
wrong kind of laugh?
Yeah,
I think that's what I mean.
So-
Jesus.
I agree with Siskel and Ebert. They both gave it 2 thumbs up. They gave this movie.
Aren't they
2
both
thumbs
dead
up.
now?
Yes, but
That's what killed him.
Wow.
Yeah. this is like Street Fighter to Raul Julia. They were supposed to do a sequel to this movie, but it just never happened because they didn't make
Why?
any money.
Yeah, nobody saw this bag of shit.
Yeah,
Mike is so mad.
Including
Yeah,
the guy. Nobody, including the guy, saw this.
Here's
Back.
the
The
thing.
editor didn't see this movie.
when I think about this movie, I think of this movie as one of those types of movies that I feel for this podcast, where it's an action, it's a martial arts action movie that's so ridiculous that we can get great material off of this thing.
Do you think that they this okay? So this is a thing I would like to bring up on the show. I'm not ironically watching any of these movies. I want to enjoy them. I don't want to like poke fun at these movies.
What?
That's my look. I'll be the character on this show. My persona is the one that I genuinely enjoy. Like the 70s kung fu movies, I genuinely enjoyed.
But Mike, just because you generally enjoy them doesn't mean you can't poke fun of them.
Oh no,
I made fun
of Long Bak.
We generally enjoyed sidekicks as kids, but the movie's not good.
No, I know.
it's
What
not.
I'm saying is that, so that's why I say when Jeff is like, oh, it'll be good material for the show, and I'm like, well, I don't want to pick movies that are intentionally that we think like suck. There has to be something that we enjoy about them.
But just because
I love the movie.
you're saying two different things. Just because Jeff could think that this movie sucks, or he could acknowledge that it sucks, but he could also say, "I fucking like this movie
Right,
for the reasons that it makes me laugh."
Right.
Okay.
And that's not a bad reason.
I watched this. I watched this again. I've watched it twice since we got the thing, and not because I didn't pay attention. I paid attention both times, and I
tried,
up.
man. I was trying.
And like I get it. I can trust me. I'm not mad at you for not, because I fully understand. And I was a fan of the old school martial arts movies too. Some of the movies I put on the list are legit movies, and other ones, once we go through this wheel, are legit martial arts movies that I adore. But I also have movies like this that I can appreciate the bad, and I feel like there's fun in the bad.
Look, I put Quest on the wheel. The Quest.
Yeah, I mean, like you put movies that are not great either. And I remember
the only one that I put that is like, and even then the fight is great is the Quest. The other ones I genuinely think are good movies.
My initial reaction,
Not me.
I was not looking. You're right. I was not looking forward to this movie, because from just the general consensus of the movies, of the two movies that we were assigned, Ong Bak and Blind Fury, this was supposed to be the one that was not likable, right? The one, and then I watched Ong Bak, which is 85% certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes, and I'm like, man, this movie sucks. And then I finished watching Ong Bak after I had to take a break from watching Ong Bak. I'm like, I need a break from this awful script, story / acting. And then a day later, I finished it, and then I just wasn't looking forward to Blind Fury, and because I was like, if that was the good one, I'm not looking forward to Blind Fury. And then I had a fucking ball watching this movie for everything that was not good about it. I'm like, this is hilariously bad. This is really hilariously bad, and this was, like Mike said, the exact opposite of Ong Bak.
Yeah.
Where Ong Bak was only good for the fight scenes.
There's no redeeming quality unless you take joy in roasting a movie.
Let me tell you something, man. I did goddamn. I did I I meant to be writing this down in a notepad, like all these like thoughts of the movie, but it literally just all spewed out in my chat with Jeff.
Yeah.
I
just kept texting me the whole
I
movie.
was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I just kept saying OMG, OMG. I'm like, oh, this is fucking hilarious. So anyways, my initial, so I enjoyed this movie for all the reasons Mike doesn't want to have this movie on the wheel. I enjoyed him for all those reasons. I'm being honest.
I am one of 4 people on this show. I'm saying that this movie, if
it would
if
not
I
make
were
it would not make your wheel.
No, but no. This is a movie that because I was watching it by myself. Even fucking Chiquita didn't even want to watch. My girlfriend didn't even want to watch it with me.
That sounds about right. She's a good girl. She's a good girl. She should not be watching this.
I didn't want to subject her to this. But
fuck.
This would have been a perfect mystery woo bro movie.
Oh my god, I would have had so much fun.
So now that you're saying that, I'm realizing I watched it alone and I tried to take it serious.
Oh, see,
and I was like,
yeah,
I was just
Mike,
man,
what's the tagline on the poster? So Jeff sends me this picture when I was originally talking to him about the idea of this podcast. I was like, yeah, me and Mike are going to do this martial arts movie podcast. He goes, oh my god, I got the movie for you. And he sent it to me. This is before I hadn't even asked Jeff to be on the podcast. He's like, I got this movie for you. And he sends it to me. And he sends me a picture of it. He sends me a picture of it. And then it's Blind Fury. And what's the tagline?
They have 5 taglines for this movie.
What's the one that you sent me? The poster.
I sent you he may be blind, but he don't need no dog. That was the official tagline.
What? What?
Jeff, Mike, do you understand? So Jeff sends me that my introduction to this movie was a movie poster, the title Blind Fury, and above the title was he may be blind, but he don't need no dog. And immediately I was like, I know exactly what kind of movie this is. So I get it. From your perspective, you're trying to watch, you thought this was going to be a serious movie.
Did the marketing people watch the movie?
Wait. Let me read the other ones. Nick Parker is quick as a snake, strong as a bull, not to mention blind as a bat. The other one, it'll hit you right between the eyes. He's lucky he can't see what he's up against.
What?
Master of the sword, avenger of the truth, blind as a bat. Those are the 5 taglines, different taglines they use for this movie.
1, 4, and 5. 2 and 3, throw them away.
I wonder if after they got the finished product, they were like, "We got to call it a comedy." We got to add those 2 goofy dudes that go running, that get mugged by old ladies with big ass guns.
Yeah.
So I knew what movie I knew what I was going to get myself into. It was a comp. I told my wife. So my wife and I are watching this movie, right? And she's on her phone as she should be. And she's watching
you guys, man.
watching this movie.
You guys.
We're watching this movie, and then every time something absurdly, because it's like levels of stupidity, right? On this movie. There's a point where it almost felt like it's supposed to be like an airplane-esque type of fucking movie. So, but there were times where anytime something absurdly ridiculous happened, my wife would yell out, "Oh, Jeffrey!" She would just. We started the movie. We started the movie. My wife goes, "What are we watching?" I go, "One of the movies that I have to watch for KickFlix." And she goes, "What movie is it?" I go, "It's Jeff's pick." Like I just wanted to distance myself from this movie because Sidekicks was on me. So I wanted to distance myself from this movie as much as possible. So the credits are rolling. I go, "It's Jeff's pick." She goes, "What's the name of this?" She already understood that I'm fucking trying to.
She understood the assignment.
Yeah. And then she's like, "What's the name of this movie?" I go, "I didn't pick this movie." Like I wasn't answering her questions. I was like, "I didn't pick this movie." And she was like, "What's the name of it?" I go, "No, I didn't even put it on the wheel. It wasn't even my putting it on the wheel. Like it was just distancing myself from the movie." And then the fucking movie, the title comes on, Blind Fury, and she goes, "What the fuck did I just say?" And I said, "Blind Fury," and then she goes, "Okay." And like she got it. She understood the assignment. She's like, "This is gonna be an absurd movie. This is gonna be a ridiculous movie." But every time something crazy happened, she was like, "Oh, Jeffrey."
I mean, like 5 minutes into the movie, after the whole Vietnam training sequence, he's walking and he gets the gator, and he's like, "Hey,
nice doggy."
Okay, so like, all right. So this is something I wanted to get to at some point in the movie, at some point in the podcast. It's like there are scenes in the movie where he's like, somebody's at your door, and he could hear that. But there are other times where he sees a gator and he goes, "Oh, it's a dog." Like he taps the gator with the fucking stick on top because every dog has a hard shell, fucking
a long
I'm
snout.
I think that was a gag. That was a haha. He thinks he called it a doggy, but it's really an alligator.
Yeah, I get it, but does he really think it's an alligator? Like, does he really think it's a dog? Like, I'm trying to. There were times where he couldn't see the kid. The kid gave him a rock to eat, and he couldn't fucking tell that, but he could hear somebody at the door. Like, and he could. It's very weird. Like, it's like his blindness comes and goes as the script calls for, and now he'll fall because you can't see it. But he'll catch the dinosaur falling from 20 feet away. He's like, what? What the fuck are we talking about here? It's very weird. So
the kid's arm at the end is amazing from that overpass.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, whoosh. He's like, put that kid in the fucking major leagues.
Yeah. So, but I have notes. My first note was...
Here he took notes. That's how serious
I said watching Blind Fury. I didn't even mean to take notes. I just was texting him and I was like, oh, all of these texts should be the notes that I should be taking. I said, I'm watching Blind Fury now. And then it says, we talked about Ong Bak for a second. I said, why are bikers always mean to people in these movies? Second movie out of 3 movies that we've watched now, this is the second time that bikers for no reason are just mean to people.
There were bikers in Ong Bak too. They were just riding dirt bikes.
Yeah, but there's reason to be like. There's also
they
did it. Yeah, they're hired guns. There's not. It's not like hey
they were racing.
And I don't know. Like it was very so that I got so there was the it started there. And I said this movie made. I said I got my opening line for Blind Fury episode, which is this movie made me miss sidekicks, which is only funny. It was only funny out of context because I've already explained that now. I like after watching this movie, I'm like, oh, I get now. I'm in.
Yeah, they drastically changed.
Yeah,
as the movie went on.
Like, the kid flipping him off. He's like, oh, goodbye, Mister, and he just keeps flipping him off.
Yeah. The kid's an asshole, right?
Oh,
like,
yes. What a little shit.
Billy's the biggest piece of shit in the world.
Almost as if he was born without a father figure.
He was born without a father.
He was lost.
Here's the thing: is that there was moments where there was sage advice, and then there was moment where there was not sage advice. So, like, where I had a few issues with sidekicks in terms of how I could see that kid growing up to be an asshole, like to his significant other, this guy had like good advice. He's like, what is it? He says, that's Ong Bak. He says, a strong man is never afraid to cry. Yeah. For 89, that's a very progressive thing to say in a movie. However,
for white people,
for a few minutes later, he's telling the kid to forgive his deadbeat dad, and I took issue with that. Maybe we don't. Maybe we hold him accountable for his mistakes.
Or maybe we hear him out and see why he's a deadbeat dad. Oh, because he had a crime syndicate, a major crime syndicate on his ass?
Yeah.
Maybe not.
For missing a couple birthdays.
Okay, but that's just now. We don't know what happened 2 or 3 years ago.
Bro, but when Billy straight up tells him, he's like, I get the window seat. You're blind. You don't need
it. What an asshole.
Yes, I get the window seat. You don't need it. You're blind. And then he goes, you got me in that one, you little shit.
Does he really say that? I missed that.
He calls him a little prick.
You prick. That's what he says. He goes, you got me there, you little prick. That's it. Was I'm like... I wish I would have seen Mike. I wish that we would have seen this movie together because you would have heard me laugh and you would have been like, "Oh, okay,
I get what this is now."
This is ridiculous. It's just
the whole time. Okay, so the whole time I was watching it, I was waiting for it to either be one thing, like to pick what it wanted to be, because if it would have just been this guy being Zen, but like this suffers from what Ong Bak was suffer from. They tried to do like a million things. They tried, like, there was a drug dealer, there was a bad guy, there was
the bad guy was the drug dealer.
No, there was dirty cops. Remember, because it was the dirty cops that were in the thing
that they went in with Tex,
and they went in Miami. Then there was the
Which
Hey,
that scene where that
really quick. We'll get back to where. Can we just talk about how I just want to mention real quick how the Miami Police Department uniform has not changed in 30 fucking years?
Yes, that's
89
right.
to now. It's still the same fucking uniform. I go, God damn, they don't fucking change for nothing. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I apologize. Go ahead.
Go, Missy.
Missy.
Oh, I was just gonna say that scene where they roll up to the house and the guy kills the mom, it hits a little different after watching Cocaine Cowboys. That's it. That's all I had to say.
Oh my god,
that shit wasn't. And the fact that I knew that it was set in Miami, I was like,
there was no
80s?
reason for that either. Like he literally grabbed her, sees the kid, throws her to the side. She literally just goes, "No, Billy," and he's like 0 to 60. Fuck you.
There's no blood.
It wasn't even that much. It wasn't even that much. He said, "Sure, we'll let you see. I'm sure you have a warrant." And he goes, "Yeah, I got the warrant right here." Bah! And I'm like, what the fuck? I sent Jeff a gift. I was like, well, that escalated quickly.
Yeah.
Well,
it goes from like, like where we're gonna take the kid. No, bang.
Well, there's also no blood. That shot looked like dirt on the lady's uniform.
She's one of the aliens from They Live. That's why she doesn't bleed.
I don't know. I don't understand that.
But
we skipped the entire part where the Latino gang steals the purse from the lady, and then they try to like trick him into putting spicy sauce in his burrito because he's blind or whatever.
With the whole thing, everything about that scene, the only thing that bothered me was that bar bully wouldn't close his damn mouth. He was just the whole time just shut. Like, if you're gonna be an asshole, like, close your mouth a little.
He's like,
that's what I was talking about the bikers, Mike. I was talking about why are bikers always mean to people? Like, oh, put the fucking.
They weren't mean in Sons of Anarchy.
No, of course not.
No, of course not. They were angels.
That's the thing. In like Easy Rider was like this. Look into the counterculture that wasn't necessarily hippies, but bikers are like these counterculture figures that they were just living out on the open road, man, and they had like a camaraderie, but the only way they would make money is that they had to commit crimes and deal drugs and all that shit. So like they were criminals, so they were bad guys.
So
just because they're bad guys doesn't mean they got to be bad guys.
Thank you, Zangief.
So I gotta mention this one thing that bothered me is why the fuck does he have a digital watch?
I didn't even notice
he
that.
has a digital watch that they show close up a bunch of times in the movie.
Okay,
and like he looks
clearly a movie you've seen a billion times for you to notice that he has a digital watch.
Well, also,
but Jeff also has a knack for this shit.
Well, also, I like to look up goofs for movies also, and a lot of people mention that. They're like, why the fuck does this guy have a digital watch? Also, at the opening scene, why does he have to announce to
drive-through ATM? Who knows?
Why does he have to announce to every single? He's crawling through the jungle and he goes, "I'm blind. I cannot see. I'm blind." And they're like, "Who is he talking to?"
Well, he just got blowed up.
Yeah.
Also, when he's training, the guy that's training him on sword fighting keeps pointing at stuff or pointing at his ear, and I'm like, but he's blind.
Yeah,
like,
he pointed at his ear like,
rude.
Listen.
And I'm
like, you're not. And I'm like, and then the village is laughing at him. I'm like, guys, but he's blind.
I wish we could get video. I genuinely lost it laughing at the visual of when the guy that was so much smaller than him and they were both holding the sword at the same time.
Yes. I was like, this guy's so much smaller than him. Like,
it was wild. I was like, I had to pause it. I was like, what the fuck is going on here?
And that wasn't your,
that's how you learn.
That wasn't your tip off to us to like, hey, let's not take this movie serious. Like, you still at that was minute 3
shit show. I thought it was just an 80s shit show, man. Like, because there's plenty of movies that try to take themselves seriously that end up like this.
So
every John Conrad in that movie.
My wife, she's just saying things because she wants to get kicked out. I know her fucking game. I'm not doing it. I'm not falling for that shit. So my wife is one of these people that says that this movie tries to take itself seriously. And I go, I don't think it does. I think this movie knows that it's fucking stupid. I don't think it does.
I don't think it's
I think it's the other way around. I think she thinks that Sidekicks was goofy and it knew what it was. I go, no, I think Sidekicks try to be a real movie.
Joe Piscopo is the Joker. He's putting smog in pinatas.
This guy is blind. And he was told to listen by a man who speaks Vietnamese
repeatedly.
But I don't necessarily like. Okay, this movie reminds me of Punisher Warzone. Okay.
All right. I'm gonna
great
go on my
movie.
phone now.
Does that
A
make
great-
sense?
a
Does
great
everybody
film?
get the why I? It's not.
No,
It's
a
like.
great film. I don't know.
But if you watch that movie in a certain way and you think of it as like a series, like because it was like I didn't like that movie until years later when I heard the director Lexi Alexander talking about how she was leaning into like the 80s 90s action movie tropes, and then I watched that movie again completely different. I watched it as a satire almost.
I disagree. I think the movie was awesome.
Yeah, when they chopped off the head at the beginning, and he can't like the moment that opening scene in the table,
I
was
wasn't
like, I'm in
ready
with this
for
movie.
it. Yeah,
I'm in for
I
this.
wasn't ready.
So
When he
the-
shoots a rocket launcher at the parkour guy,
That's hilarious. That's
it's
great.
hilarious. But I was like, what the
That's the
fuck?
part. That's the one part that's out of character. That
Oh.
But anyways, going back to this movie, going back to Blind Fury. In the beginning of the movie, right? That's what you were talking about when he was like, I'm blind. He's like, who the fuck is he talking to?
Yeah.
I couldn't for the life of me. I was like, when he said that line, I was like, oh god, I miss sidekicks. That's the line that he said. He's like, I'm blind. I'm blind. I'm like, why are you who? Sir.
I'm blind. I can't see. And then one of the other soldiers pops up. He's like, yes, that's what blind means, idiot.
Yeah, you asshole. Oh, one thing I want to go back to in the scene where the mom gets shot. One of my favorite shots in the entire movie was when the black guy goes into the other room and he jumps into the room and he slashes at the statue, the bookcase, and then the black guy puts this what's his name, Winslow from like a Police Academy face.
Yeah, the acting on the they didn't hire stunt guys. They were just like, we're gonna swing near you, and die. And then he's like, okay.
But he doesn't die, because then that next shot, you just see him go like this slowly, like moving forward.
That's fucking trash. God damn it.
Wait, I got it. I found it. I found the part. Hold on.
And then the hand that gets chopped off.
Oh, the hand that gets chopped off is so good. I was like, oh my god. And by good, I mean bad. And I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. I couldn't.
They said one of the gags, goofs, is that you can see that the cop falls back, but you can see both his hands still.
Here we go. The title of this on YouTube is Overacted Cop Death.
Yes,
of course it is. Of course it is. God,
if you're listening to the audio version.
It's so good. It's so good.
If you're listening to the audio version, go back to our YouTube or Facebook. Oh my god.
Mike, you after that scene, you were still expecting quality?
Yeah.
No, but here's a true testament to 80s action movies. Some of them are this bad on when they were trying to be good. You know what I mean? That I genuinely think that
how many
tried
times
to make a good movie, and then at a certain point they were like, nah.
Okay, so at what point for you, Mike, right? At what point for you watching this movie did you go, maybe they're not trying to be serious? Like, at what point did you think to yourself?
No, well, that's the thing. I could not focus on the movie because there were moments where I would it just wouldn't hold my attention either.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's even if a movie's bad, but it holds your attention, it's still an enjoyable watch. That's what I'm saying. Like, you guys understood what this was trying to be. Whatever. You understood the assignment. I was trying to watch it in whatever content. I was just like, all right, I guess I gotta watch this thing. And I feel like I would have enjoyed this more if I would have been watching it with someone else, because then at least we would have focused. I could have focused more.
Well, I think it becomes like any comedy. When you watch it with other people, it becomes that much more enjoyable, because even if you did it, you know what I mean? Like, it becomes like, oh, let's laugh together. Laughing is contagious. It's a whole thing.
But that's the thing. I in had no idea. Like, that's the thing. I was trying to.
Well, Mike, I did. In to be fair, when the wheel picked this movie, the joke I made was, all right, so we got a really good movie and Blind Fury. Like, that was that was my tipping of my. I guess because looking back at it, talking about it now, my introduction to this film was that movie poster with that tagline. So I just knew off the bat.
I guess
from now on we send over taglines to Mike.
Yeah,
Just
no.
you know.
That what I was gonna say is that the part that like the reason why, because there were moments where there are moments where it definitely tries to take itself seriously. Like there are moments where he's giving like the words of wisdom and he's giving all that stuff, and then all of a sudden like it'll be some goofy shit.
Like when he
when he
bad
drives
guy
the van and then he's like, "I'm blind. What's your excuse?" or some other bullshit like that.
Fucking hilarious. That's gold, Michael. That is gold, and you're still. I mean, he goes,
I just didn't understand.
Are you blind? He goes, yeah. What's your excuse?
I'm from Miami. The random,
those two goofball things. Those two goofball dudes that are chasing them. The
random blood play that the guy that's bleeding makes the lady lick his finger.
Oh, yeah,
I'm like, that's a curveball. That took me out of the movie for a sec. That did it. That was the one I was like, that's so much.
What I may have looked too much in the campfire scene. Kind of threw me off, and I was like, what? Where? Like, because I had forgotten about it. That I was like, that's when he had like that moment, but he's like touching his face and like rubbing his hair. And like, I'm like, wait, what movie is this becoming right now? What is happening right now? I was like, this is really awkward.
There was a lot of like, there's a thing in movies that I definitely don't enjoy because it feels like cheap writing, where all of a sudden, like the character relationships develop super slow. Then one thing happens, and now they're like the best of friends, and like things got to like when they're rolling around in the mud in the rain or some shit like that. Like, I would have preferred this movie to. Well, I would have preferred this movie to be good, but I would have enjoyed this movie if I could. I just could not follow the jumps of logic that it was forcing me to make. You know what I mean? Like it was just, there was too many leaps in logic. All of a sudden there's like an abandoned ski resort. You know what I mean? Like there's like a ski resort where he fights Sho Kosugi, which was dope, but then whatever. There's just like so many, like they tried to take.
He fucking, first of all, that gong that plays when this dude shows up. When Sho Suzuki shows up, ching, I'm like, what the fuck? Why do you need that? Oh my God. And then they start fighting. And he touches his face.
Yes.
Goes, Japanese.
Yes.
What the fuck? What the fuck? Cringe.
How crazy were the fucking 80s that was allowed? How crazy was the 80s that even as a joke? Because even if you go, oh, this is gonna be funny.
I mean, but he didn't misidentify him.
I mean, he nailed it.
He nailed it. Like it wasn't like he was like
he's telepathic.
Like he could tell the difference with his hand.
In 2 seconds.
My daughter was watching that. So my kids came in at the end of the movie, right? And that was right around the scene that my daughter comes in. And she goes, how can he tell if he's Japanese or not? And I was like, I don't know. I had no answer, bro. I had zero answer. As a father.
Parenting moment brought to you by Neri.
First of all, that movie, they weren't watching the entire movie. And for the most part, they didn't even curse in the first like hour and something, right?
Yes.
And then my kids start watching the movie, and right when they start watching the movie, I don't know, there was a line where they will go, fuck, shit, fuck. And I was like,
yes,
Jesus. Like right when my kids sat down, I'm like, they haven't cursed this entire movie. And I'm like, all right, well, they haven't cursed, I'm fine with whatever.
There was no cursing. And I remember that too. At a certain point, they were saying fuck a lot. And I was like, have they been doing that the whole time? Like, it just shook me. I was like, wait, where did all of these fucks come from?
I literally turned to Vanessa and I was like, to my wife, and I was like, great. The whole movie they haven't cursed one single time, and now the kids sit down and right when the kids sit down and watch it, and then my daughter, I'm talking to my wife, my daughter on the other side of the couch goes, and they said the worst ones. They said fucking shit.
Wait, did you also have to explain to her what a circumcision is from when he goes, and I also do circumcision?
So good. Like so many funny lines. So many I wrote all of these to I said all of these to Jeff. I said all of them to Jeff. I was like,
I'm gonna tell you right now, there's a line that he says at the end that is, I will put it up against pure like badass action movie one-liners when everything goes dark and he turns off all the lights and the guy's like, I can't see a thing, and he goes, that's where I live. Like he pops up behind the guy and he goes, that's where
you merely adopted the dog. I was born.
Really?
Yeah.
It was that one and not the more this place has more holes than my daddy's rubber?
Oh my God,
that one line wasn't
next one. That's the next one.
And then the guy
That's
goes,
the
"I
next
didn't
one.
know Daddy wore a rubber."
I like when he goes. I like when he
so
goes.
mad.
The circumcision line. I love the fact that there was such a long pause. He goes, "I also do
Circumcision.
circumcisions." And I was
Dramatic
like,
pause.
And I love that in the casino scene right before that he's like making all this money, and then they bring in like the dude with like the loaded ball or
Yeah.
like the loaded like the
Oh,
remote control.
yeah, the remote
And he's like,
control.
tick, 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 tick. No. He
I
like
was-
cuts him with all that
I was
shit.
like, but you thought the gator was a dog, sir. How
Yeah.
the fuck did you hear this?
One of these
I-
things is
there-
not like the
So I
other.
texted this to Jeff. So my daughter comes in, and right when my daughter comes in is a scene where there's like 1,000 gunmen, and then he kills all of them. And this is how you can tell my daughter is just like me. She goes, "Does he ever clean that sword? I have a lot of blood in it. Does he ever clean that sword?" And I was like, "Oh my God, she's so mean."
They do
Like-
they do show it at one point that he has blood on the sword,
Yeah.
which they show it, and I was like,
Who made this sword?
good question. Did he steal
Was it-
it
was
from that
it-
Vietnamese person?
No, he was. I mean, it's a Hanzo sword from Kill Bill.
Yeah.
That was
I feel like he was gifted it once he like
yeah, that's what.
was ready
Yeah,
to leave. Like that's what I
Sure.
took from
No,
it.
I get it. I look.
Maybe it has magical powers and it
Any-
sucks ninja spirits into it. Oh
I
wait,
mean, if you
that's
have
another
a
classic.
I mean, just to segue into Mike's background, I mean, you have a magical cornfield where people just show up out of nowhere. Why can't you have a magical sword?
They don't show up out of nowhere. They were in there looking for the dumbass kid that decided the best way to grieve was to go for a run. Shut the fuck up.
Why would they pick a cornfield? Why would the bad guys just randomly like, "Oh, we got to look in here"? Like, why?
Because obviously it's a great place to hide. You're not in plain sight anymore.
Because it was written in the
Strategy.
script, Mary.
All right,
I
so I
do-
want to share with you a couple of videos that I took of my kids watching this movie.
Yes. That's why you don't play with electricity in the water, kids.
Yeah. You use
That's
your
a weak
katanas.
house death, though.
So for the audience who wasn't able to hear it, for the audio audience, my kids, I started recording I started recording too late because my kids, when the moment they were started playing around with the water, my kids were like, "Oh, he's gonna get electrocuted. He's gonna get electrocuted." They were like calling that shit.
Yeah.
And so when they finally got it, like, "I knew it. I knew." Like they were so happy that they called the guy being electrocuted because they had seen that shit from a mile away. And then the other one is the entire family got involved when we were watching
Now
this.
this movie's disgusting. No.
Miss. The first time he misses that.
So he missed the sword.
That butter knife ain't gonna stop no bullet.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen to my wife laugh.
Oh.
You see, Oliver got the assignment.
Yeah.
I'm so blind right now.
Oh man, he got Darth Maul.
Yeah, he got Darth Maul.
He got Darth Maul. Randall Tex Cobb.
Oh my God.
Here's the thing. You keep saying
Oh God.
that he understood that the assignment was to understand this as a comedy, and I still disagree. I still
But you
cannot.
you didn't Google this movie? It fucking says it's a comedy. Like everywhere,
No,
on
I didn't
IMDb,
Google it.
everywhere.
I just started it. I go to my Siri thing. I'm like, Blind Fury, Blind Fury, and it
when
popped
Siri,
up.
and
I
when
pressed
Siri
play.
said, when Siri said, "Are you sure?" That didn't keep you off. Like that never keeps you off when you go, "Wow, maybe."
I was like, first of all, I've never liked homework. Okay. And this was the most homeworky of home. Like even okay,
I disagree. This was easier to watch for me than Umbach.
but here's the thing. I would have loved to have seen better fighting, because as much as like
yeah, I would have loved to have seen better acting in Umbach. It doesn't mean it's gonna happen.
That's what I'm
because
saying,
we
like,
see it. All right.
But in Ong Bak, because it was in another language and I had to read the subtitles, I was forced to pay attention. With this movie, I would tune in and out, and I'm like, oh my god,
You put subtitles on this one
captions
too.
on, man. You put the captions on.
No.
You keep fucking.
Yeah. That's the problem. That was the issue with this movie.
Look, the issue with this movie, Mike, honestly, the issue with the movie is you called it earlier. You said it the way it is that you didn't know it was a comedy going in, and you watched it by yourself. That was it. That's the problem you had with this movie. I get it. It makes sense as to why.
One of the problems I had with this movie. The movie itself is the problem.
Here's the
and
thing,
then
Mike has problems with the fights. Can you show the cop getting killed again? Because I don't think he really grasps the quality of the fight.
No. Okay. The thing is that okay. I'll show you. Know the at the end when he's fighting the all of the bad guys in the dark.
Yeah.
There was some very cool moments there in terms of like the lighting and the cinematography, but a lot of this movie was him like it just looked poorly shot. It was poorly shot. Like it just wasn't. It felt like it wasn't shot by like a martial arts person that understood how to make it look good. So it all felt really slow. There was the guy that like nobody told him like, hey, cut. All right, we're gonna need you. You're at a 10, and we need you at like a 2. Nobody said that. So the whole thing feels like 3 different movies. It feels like somebody wrote a drama, they filmed an action movie, and they promoted a comedy movie. You know what I mean? Like it feels like this.
But where is it written that it has to be? It has to align.
I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm just saying it doesn't do. There's plenty of movies that do that well, like the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, like the Suicide Squad, the one that just came out, does a great job of balancing everything. But this movie is just like,
I think the budget of that one was a little higher than
Mike, so you didn't like the line when the main bad guy says, "Get me Bruce Lee." Oh, he's dead. Then get me his brother. Like dialogue like that is just,
that was so good.
Is gold.
I do. What's that actor's name? Because I
Unemployed. His name is Unemployed.
No, his
name is History Teacher.
He's in a million things.
Noble Willingham.
Yeah,
the guy that played McCready.
Oh God, make it serious.
He's in a million things. He's a great character actor, and he's just.
I love the fact that he's in a million things, and I keep thinking about it. It's like he's at the car wash. He's at the he mows the lawn. He's at the landscaping company.
He bags my groceries at Publix. But he's like there. It's like a caricature of this like southern like get me y'all heat on a he home. He's like, and then he's like again. Both movies that we've done in the last 2. Oh, I lost my camera. In the last 2 movies that we've done,
that's where I live.
Yeah. In the last 2 movies that we've done, the main bad guy is kind of a sloppy mess. Like this guy, he doesn't succeed at anything. First of all, when they get to Terry O'Quinn's character, he burns the fucking building down. Like they burn the motherfucker to the ground. Yeah. And then later on, he's like when they're arming up, the montage of arming up for the invading the ski lift, the ski resort, whatever. Mm-hmm. He's putting Molotov cocktails into his pockets. He's got multiple bottles of Molotov cocktails. And I was like, there's gotta be a more efficient process. Can you not get a gun? And it's like, this motherfucker just likes to burn shit, I think.
Yeah. When the
2 dumbasses killed themselves, my daughter was like, they just killed themselves. Like she was just like, these guys are idiots. But it was just I don't know, Mike. A 6 and a 9-year-old understood that it was a comedy. I don't understand how. But I get it, man. You were watching by yourself. It wasn't the same.
How are you rating this?
Twice. Well,
because it can't be a KickFlix logo. Swords. How are we gonna rate this one?
Everybody should come up with their own rating system.
Oh, boy, go ahead, man. Come up with your own. What's your rating system?
Well, I'll go. I did not like this movie, so we can we know what my score is going to be.
That. What?
Wow.
Continue.
Should
go, Missy. You since
you're 1 out of 5. Missy, how many cane swords would you give this movie out of 5?
You can't give it 5.
How many walking stick swords would you give this movie?
5.
5. Missy's giving it a 5.
I might watch this again, like on a day that I need a serotonin hit. Like it's just me throw it on and just, you know what? It could be worse. It could be worse.
You could be in this movie.
I could be as part of this cast or this crew.
This director made legit movies afterwards too, like legit.
I haven't seen any of those.
Man,
I only know him for this movie so far.
BFF, you should watch Salt. It's Angelina Jolie as a secret spy. That's all I gotta tell you. She's the shit.
But she can see.
Oh god, that's so good.
You guys didn't see that Blind Fury reboot called Salt?
We took all the we all took half a second before it hit.
I was gonna say something.
Jeff, how many walking stick swords would you give?
So I'm actually, my rating is gonna be Clay Triceratops. And I'm happy, Missy, that you picked a 5. I'm probably gonna go with a 4.
Wow.
Just because
this was your pick, motherfucker. What are you talking about?
I don't have to. It doesn't have to be a 5.
No, you're right. You're right.
Be my pick. Like, I'm giving it a 4 because I agree with Mike in that it looks like they tried to do 3 different movies, but I liked all 3 of those movies.
Yeah.
You like the Piccadilly?
That's a weird reason to pick a 4. Like, listen,
I would go 4.5.
There be too many things.
Yeah.
But I loved all of the things they were
It's a
trying to do.
Cheesecake Factory menu all over again.
You know what? I'll go 4.5 then. That makes it. You make a good point on that. I'll go 4.5 Triceratops. It's missing 1 horn. But it was fun. Like I'm telling you, I watched it twice in the last 5 days, and I was like, it made me laugh. It made me giggle. Even the scenes, like that scene with the cop right now, we saw it again. That's probably the 4th time I've seen it, and it still makes me crack up. You know, but I can see that it's not necessarily a great movie.
Oh no, I know it's a bad movie.
Awful movie.
I know it's a bad movie. I know it's an awful movie.
Yeah.
And I will give it 5 walking stick swords out of 5. This movie was fucking fun all the way around. That shit is hilarious to me.
Okay.
I will say this. I'm with Mike on the teetering on it not being a martial arts movie. I'm on that. However, based upon the fact that it was based on an actual martial arts movie, a samurai movie, and all that jazz, I'm like, I agree with Mike. It barely made it onto the martial arts movie like that because of the last barely by the skin of the teeth of the alligator. Make it on.
I sent that message to the chat of this isn't a martial arts movie. Literally seconds before that final fight thing happened.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh god, now I gotta fucking I gotta even accept it.
Shows he was known in the 80s. He did a ton of ninja movies.
Yeah.
So they brought this legit guy in.
Yeah.
He did Ninja 3 The Domination.
Yeah.
You couldn't tell it was him because in that movie he was blind in one eye. He had a patch.
I will tell you
the range of his talent just
10 offensive stereotypes. That's not my score. I'm just keeping count. I'm gonna give it a 0.
You can. It's 1 through 5. Every rating system. There's no rating system. You can't go on Amazon and give something a 0. It has to be a 1 through 5. I don't understand why that's so hard for you to understand.
He's mad. Let him have his 0.
No,
Can we just allow it this time?
When he told you it could be 0, I was like, no, there's no rating system. You can't go on Uber and give 0 stars. You can't go on anything and give us 0
I think he would prefer to quit the podcast than to give it 1 fucking
here's the thing.
Star.
I got into this podcast knowing full well that we're gonna be watching some shitty movies. Here's the problem. This movie was shitty in a way that a shitty kung fu movie that you watch is different. This wasn't it felt like it was supposed to be good. That's the problem I had with it because I still disagree. I can't wrap my head around how this was intentionally a comedy. Because it felt like every 80s after school special or some sort, it had a lot of the chintzy whatever, trying to be more than it really was.
But Mike, every 80s sitcom had that special episode.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Even
Failed
in comedies, they had that. We could take ourselves seriously for a moment.
Yeah, and they all sucked, except for when Jesse Spano is addicted to caffeine pills. Other than that,
And
they
she's
all
so
sucked.
excited.
She's so scared.
Yeah, Urkel almost falling off the roof after doing the Urkman.
Screech getting struck by lightning. Look, we can go on and
When
on.
Stephanie Tanner drove the car into the kitchen.
When DJ Tanner had an eating disorder. We all know these classic tropes.
When
What I'm
this
saying is that
Vietnam fighter got blind from a helicopter accident and learned to fight. That's
okay. I will describe it to you in comedy terms. This movie feels so hack that it was hard for me to even enjoy the parts that were good.
All right. I
like
agree
the whole time I was like, this is bull. Like fuck this movie.
I agree with everything that you're saying, and that's why I enjoyed all of it. Literally, I'm not even trying to be a jerk. I literally agree with you. I think this movie was hacky. I think the movie was bad. It was shitty. Had bad acting, or was trying to do 3 different things at one time. And it made me laugh. And that's all I can tell you. It just made me laugh. So with that said, I will say this movie is not good, but it made me laugh. I enjoyed it. I was like, this is my movie version of going to Vegas and seeing Carrot Top. I don't know what to tell you.
No. I get it. Look, I get it. Yeah. I am of the mindset that this gets 1 inappropriate face touch out of 5.
I like that.
Because I just could not wrap all the things that you're enjoying about it. Just made me mad. I was just like this, and I couldn't pay attention to. I was like,
I feel as if me and you should watch this movie together.
No, if we watched it together, I would have had fun making fun of it with
you.
No,
I'm saying still watch it together. Like now, even now afterwards. Now,
brother, I just want to hang out with you, man. I miss you guys. You know, come on, man. I want to have some fun.
All right, let's spin the wheel, man.
Wait. So, because we mentioned it, we mentioned in every episode. So, Blind Fury on Rotten Tomatoes, 53% by critics, 51% by audience score. So, Sidekick is still the lowest rated movie. Sidekicks is still the lowest rated movie that we've done. By critics.
Interesting.
Okay. Yeah.
As it should
by
be.
20%.
As it should be.
And do you think we're gonna beat that?
I mean, I don't know if I want to now.
Say about it.
Yeah.
We will. Jeff has something to say
Stand
about
by.
it.
Stand by, buddy.
Jeff was like, challenge accepted.
Hold my beer.
Let's see.
Share that video. Share that window.
Share that window.
Come on, man. I hope I get one of mine, so then we can have this argument where on something that I think is good, and then all 3 of you gang up against me the other way.
All right.
It's gonna be hard, Mike, because I just genuinely love martial arts movies.
I know you do. So that's why I hated this movie.
So to the listener, we are now gonna spin the wheel of movies. We have at this point 38 entries into the movie wheel. If you want to give us a suggestion that's not on the movie wheel, email us at kickflixpod@gmail.com. That's kickflix with an X. pod gmail.com. If you want to know which movies are already on the wheel, make sure you go to our Instagram, because there is a video on our Instagram that shows you all that goes step by step on all the movies that are on the wheel. So let's go through that, and let's go.
A KickFlix. It's like Netflix with a kick.
You know what? I like it. I like it. It's not as good as he may be blind, but he don't need no dog. But I like it.
Neri, so is Mortal Kombat? Is that like a remake?
Wow.
Throw a joke in there.
While the wheel spins, does Dead or Alive count as a martial arts movie, Mike? Because I can beat that score that you were talking about.
Yeah. Oh shit!
Holy shit!
Yeah. Nice.
Enter the Ninja.
What is that?
Enter the Ninja is the movie before Ninja 3: The Domination. It's the part 2 of the not Ninja 3: The Domination trilogy.
Wait, I'm sorry. Isn't Enter the Ninja? What's the first one?
It's you know what? I think you're right. Enter the Ninja is the first one, and then part 2 is Return of the Ninja.
I was gonna say Birth of the Ninja is the first one.
Yeah. Dawn of the Planet of the Ninjas. Rise of the Dawn of the Planet of the Ninjas.
Baby Ninja is first, and then it goes. No, so you're right. I think Enter the Ninja. We'll figure it out when we read the Wikipedia of it. But I know it's definitely part of the trilogy, or the anthology trilogy to Ninja 3: The Domination.
Mm-hmm.
It stars somebody in Blind Fury.
Technically.
He's so mad.
He's so
I
mad.
fucking love it. All right, so make sure you guys check us out. Check us out on all the social medias at KickFlix. It's like Netflix, but with a kick. Make sure you check us out on Instagram. All the links are on there on the bio. So make sure you guys check that out. Thank you very much for checking us out.
Nope.
KickFlix.